Support for Consider This is provided by
There's a new place for senior care with daily laundry service. A place with a day spa. A place where seniors get the care they need in the comfort of home. Home Instead Senior Care.
Once again, from the studios of UNO Television on the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, Consider This, a program of issues and information behind today's news.
Just how do they do that? Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt. Welcome to this week's edition of Consider This. Our topic, agility training for dogs. Joining us to talk more about it is Amy Sheffield. Amy is an agility coordinator for Go Dogs in Omaha. Joining her, Pixel, a 5-year-old mini American Shepherd. Thank you both so much for being here. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, we're going to start with Pixel. Interesting name.
Yes.
Story there?
So I like to do photography in my one of my many other hobbies, and so the name kind of stuck because pixels are little itty bitty units that you work with in photography, and she's kind of an itty bitty dog. So her registered name is She's a Megapixel. So meaning she's a little thing, but she is mega. You know, she's got this personality, and when she gets out there and runs agility, I mean, people just kind of like stop to watch because she's just a little crazy. So
what else is important to know about this dog before we move on in the interview?
She loves to do so many things. Agility is just one of those. She loves to hike. She loves to play frisbee. She competes in another dog sport called flyball. Swimming, just being with me. She does love to cuddle up on the couch and watch TV, so it's not all go, go, go. She's just very, very smart. She loves to play. She loves to work. She's ready for adventure any time of the day, so yeah.
Wow. We have a photograph we're going to put up for our viewers, and as we do that, talk about your relationship to this dog.
Okay. So my relationship with Pixel, I am pretty much her playmate. I am her little buddy, disguised by doing agility. So she thinks I am nothing more than a playmate. Throw the frisbee, throw the ball, let's play agility, let's run, what are we doing next? Whoa. So luckily in dog training, me being the fun playmate, it makes it very easy for her because training equals play. So it's not, something like, oh, we have to go train now. It's nothing more than play. She doesn't know any different. So I'm like the fun mommy. Yeah.
So how did you get involved in dog training, Amy?
So I came from the horse world many, many years ago, and we always had Australian Shepherds on the farm. And so I knew that they were really savvy around livestock. And eventually I still had horses, and I wanted to get a dog of my own. And my very first dog, who actually turns 15 years old on Saturday. I still have her. My first dog ever. Wow. Is a miniature Australian Shepherd, miniature American Shepherd. And I knew that I wanted to have a dog that I could take with me to the farm when I did the horses, but also, be active because I'm kind of an active person. So I got this little dog, and I said, well, I want to do something fun, something different to keep me active. And I learned about agility. And I'm like, well, I never really played competitive sports in high school or college, because I was always riding the horses. So I found out about agility, and I took some classes as a beginner, a new person, and I was like, this is kind of fun. And my little dog, Neela, she loved it too. And so we kind of learned about it together. And next thing you know, I'm like, we're stepping to the line in our first competition, and I'm like, this is kind of addictive. I kind of like this.
I'll be darned. So when we talk, and we'll talk more about agility, but training in general, there probably are some options. So I have a dog and I want to go and have that dog trained. What are some of the options that are available now?
So we're very fortunate in Omaha. We've got several places that you can go. So I happen to teach at our nonprofit dog club in Omaha called Go Dogs, but there are several other locations around the area that also teach not just agility, but we've got fly ball, obedience, another type of obedience called rally. There's new things called barn hunt, where the dogs have to go in and sniff out rats in mazes and stuff for those dogs like terriers, or actually any dog can do it. We have a lot of facilities here in Omaha. The Humane Society is a great one. That's kind of one of the places I got started and used to teach puppy classes there many moons ago.
Wow.
So if you live in Omaha and you want to do something with your dog, there are plenty of opportunities. Whether it be I just want to have an obedient dog that goes for a walk and doesn't pull on a leash and act like a fool, or hey, my dog sure loves a tennis ball and loves to tug with me. How about a dog sport? And we have no shortage of any of that here. So
wow, that's amazing. Well, let's talk in terms of agility. When people ask you, what is that? What do you tell them? How do you define it?
Well, it definitely is a sport because you are running and the dog is running. Agility is taking your dog through a series of obstacles as fast as you can and as clean as you can. Meaning, I have to take my dog through a course and not have any mistakes. And a mistake is a dropped bar. So maybe they tick a bar and it falls. Or there are contact obstacles and they have to hit the yellow zone with their feet. They just can't Superman off of it. So there is training involved. You just don't get to run around as fast as you can. So there are components to that. Or as you've seen, the weave poles. They have to enter the weave poles properly. They can't pop out of the weave poles. So it's a lot of refined movements at high speed.
Which brings me to the next question then. So what types of dogs are able to do this, and dare I say able to do it well, because of all the things that you just described?
Right. So any dog, any breed of dog can do agility.
Okay.
I have seen so many breeds do agility. Now, it's going to be a lot easier for a little dog to run through a tunnel than, say, a Great Dane. Great Danes have to crouch down. So every dog will have their little quirks to handle. But like I said, there are dogs that are built for speed, definitely, out there. And they may have a little leg up in the competition, but not necessarily, because I've seen great slow and steady dogs get around a course, and because they were consistent and handled it, I've seen them beat the wicked fast dogs.
Wow.
So any breed, some people say, oh, I've got a Bernese Mountain Dog, he can never do agility. They can. You just have to think outside the box when it comes to training them to do certain things. What motivates my dog, which is a Frisbee or a tennis ball, a Bernese Mountain Dog or a Shih Tzu or a Dalmatian may have different motivators in there. But like I said, you go to AKC shows or AKC Nationals, and there you just see breeds that you don't typically see, which is really neat.
Wow. Is there a certain age that people, because you may have people saying, oh, this sounds good, but my dog is already 9, or I'm not sure that it would be good to introduce something like that to them now. So what would be the ideal age?
Right. So they do, you've heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can. I've seen people come in with their 6, 7, 8-year-old dog. Maybe they don't want to compete, but you're like, you know what? Maybe I just want to teach them to weave or do the obstacles. Now, when we get a dog, like let's say I get a puppy, I also have rescue dogs that I've gotten at an older age. So when you get a puppy, there's a lot of foundations that you do with the puppy. I don't take my dogs when they're 5 months old and say, I want you to start learning to weave, or I want you to run up and over an A-frame. That will come later when they are physically and mentally mature.
Okay.
Plenty of time for that. So I'm a very huge proponent in laying a lot of basic foundational work, such as play with me. When I step to the line with my dog, if there's another ring going on and there are dogs running around playing Frisbee, I know that my dog's not going to be like, hey, what are they doing over there? I want to go see that. I know that my dog is here to play with me, and they know their job.
Okay.
And there's a lot of little components, like with bigger dogs, you want to teach them that they have a hind end. sometimes, the dog walk is a very thin piece of wood that they run across. And so you want to ensure that your larger dogs have that hind end awareness so they know that, hey, all 4 feet have to be running on this thing.
Right.
And they're comfortable. So the teeter is a very scary obstacle. They have to run up it and bang it down.
Right.
So there's so many foundations that you lay first. And then I say the handling and all the obstacles, that's the sexy stuff, we call it. That will come later. There's no need to rush it. And also, all dogs mature at different rates, where she was a very quick maturing dog. Like, she was almost a prodigy. Like, I got this, I can do this without you, I don't need you. Where some of my other dogs, you know what? Maybe by the time they're 2 or 3, we'll step into the ring and we'll try it. So it depends on the dog and what you do. And every dog is different. So
if someone out there is considering this, is there anything that you advise them to do prior to coming in that first time? So they make the phone call, they say, hey, this sounds pretty interesting. Are there suggestions prior to you even meeting them that you guys make?
I like to say play with your dog. Does your dog like to interact and play with you? And by playing, I mean, do they like to tug on something? A lot of people are like, no, tugging is bad. No, it's a relationship building activity. And so we have them tug on little fleece things, or does your dog like a tennis ball or a frisbee? Can you just take off running like a wild person, and will your dog chase you and think you are the most amazing thing in the whole world? So a great relationship with your dog it's kind of if you don't have it, it's not a deal breaker. We can train that, but just a dog that loves to be with you and shows that they just love doing anything with you. And again, playing and toys and any of that kind of stuff. Some dogs, you're like, my dog likes to climb on everything, and they jump up and off the bed and they're leaping, and that's great too. That shows athleticism. So just a great relationship with your dog. And like I said, if they don't have it, you can build it.
Okay, so very, very good. Well, you've already referenced several of these things, but what we want to do now is put up a series of photographs for the viewers, and you can kind of, now that you've set the stage, you can tell us exactly what it is that we're seeing there.
You bet. Yes. So this is me this past March at AKC Nationals, and it's a big event. Like I said, AKC Nationals, and this is the finals class. So we have to fight our way to get into the finals class. So we made it, and this is our final run. And I love this picture because it shows the connection between me and my dog.
Yeah.
So I just sent her over the backside of a jump, and I did something called a blind cross. And so for an instant, my eyes are off of her. And here we are reconnecting before we go on to our next series of obstacles. So I just love this photo, and this was a very memorable run. So this photo is a Pixel doing the A-frame, which is an agility obstacle. And this is a steeplechase finals run at night under the lights in a venue called USDAA. And it was just pretty much go as fast as you can, as clean as you can. And so as you can tell, she is just running her little heart out here. She almost kind of has a smile on her face a little bit. And everybody is cheering, and the crowd is just so wild, and that gets her really amped up too. So that was a great, great event for us as well. And here she is doing the weave poles. This is at the Purina Incredible Dog Challenge. And this was an event called the 60 Weave Pole Challenge, and they do 30 weave poles down and back. And the photographer's laying on the ground taking photos of her, and she is so focused on her little job there. I was so proud of her. But you can see, I mean, not only is she super cute, but she's just so focused in doing what she's doing, and she loves it, So
to be clear, dogs are going to be doing this kind of thing even if they're not competing. That's what agility training is. So for folks who are watching, your dog can learn this and not ever step into an actual competition per se, right?
Exactly. I have some folks that I train, and they're like, you know what, this is just for fun agility. I want to say, hey, I trained my dog to do this. Maybe they have nerves, and they're like, you know what, competing is not for me, and that is absolutely fine. But when you train your dog to do this, you're building a relationship with them, and you're like, look at what I just did. Yay, I just trained my dog to weave 12 poles. I mean, that's not a very natural movement for a dog, and to train it is a pretty significant thing. So there are people, you don't ever have to step into the ring to compete. But once you do, you may find that it's pretty darn fun.
So you mentioned a few benefits. What are some of the others if people do just want to stop right there? They don't want to go into the competition realm. Some of the obviously physical fitness,
Right.
And so forth. But what are some of the other benefits that we may not think about?
Right. So just physical fitness for sure, not only for you, but for the dog.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I can do 5 minutes of training with my dogs and they're like, we're tired, we're good, because they're using their mental capacity as well as the physical capacity. So they are thinking as well as working. So believe it or not, 5 minutes of that and the dog's like, I just worked really hard. And then for you, it helps in problem solving. So maybe you're trying to train something and you're like, this is not working for me. How can I maybe figure out another way to do this? So problem solving or reaching out to your peers. I reach out to my peers all the time. I'm like, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z, and it is not working for me. What have you seen that works, or what might I try? So just a lot of that. And also compassion for your animal. Like, this is something that they are doing for fun. We are doing it for fun. So you know what? If your dog is struggling or having a hard time, you know, I tell friends, I go, we're not curing cancer, we're playing with our dogs. So it also teaches you to take things not very seriously. Like, we're playing with our dogs in the grand scheme of things. Even when I step to the line at a very big competition in a finals, I take a look at my dog and I take a deep breath and I tell her what an amazing dog she is, and off we go. Because you know what, this is just for, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So
Now, let's talk just briefly about potential risks, because I would imagine dogs, like humans,
yes.
we kind of get it, we kind of get ourselves to believe that we can go out and jog 5 miles even if we haven't jogged one, right? Because we're going to do that today because we've set our minds to it. And then the next day, 2, 3, we're hurting as a result of it.
Yes.
So I would imagine dogs are the same way, and that you guys, when folks are coming in, you do ease them in. But are there any warning signs that people can be looking for, because the dogs can't talk to us?
Right.
So what would you say there?
So my big ones are, these dogs are working for us. They are athletes. They need to maintain a proper weight.
Okay.
One of my biggest pet peeves is seeing overweight dogs stumbling through an agility course because it wears on their joints. And let me tell you, down the road, you're setting them up for arthritis and other problems later on down the line. Because these dogs are doing behaviors that are not 100% natural for them. Weaving is not natural. My dogs receive chiropractic care as well as massage and laser. And when we travel to large events, we have massage therapists and chiropractors that come with us, because dogs can stumble or trip over a jump or hit something wrong, and they can tweak their muscles and they can have problems. You know, us as humans, we will do our best to get through. I'll wrap my leg, I will, take my Aleve and off I go. But these guys can't necessarily do that. So we have people that take great care of our dogs, and I do a lot of conditioning with my dog. We just don't sit on the couch all week and then go out and run an agility course. We swim, we hike, we run hills, we do stretches, we do lots of other things. And we also rest. Rest is a big part of it. We don't have to go all the time. So I'm very big on the resting. My dogs don't have to do something every day. They will not bounce off the walls. So that is a huge pill. Like, you take your dog to a chiropractor? I'm like, yes, I do. So yeah, it's a big part of it that people don't think of. So once they start competing, I kind of tell them, hey, here are some options to keep your dog in optimal shape.
Okay.
And as us too, I try to take as good a care as my body as I can.
Right.
I have injuries as well. I am not a spring chicken, so I'm also, get chiropractic, and I go to physical therapy for aches and pains. So I want to be in the best shape that I can be for her as well.
So let's talk about this competition, right? So never been involved with that, you're right. So people need to set the stage for us in terms of what does that look like? What are some of the categories and so forth?
Yep. So there are different venues in agility that you can compete in: AKC, USDAA, CPE, and there are many others. Each venue has different types of courses, and some of them have games associated with them. So it depends on your flavor. AKC is very, very popular around the Midwest, so that's very popular around here. A lot of people do it. There are courses that have all of the contact obstacles, all of the A-frame, the teeter, the weaves. There are jumpers courses, which just have jumps and weaves and tunnels, none of the other stuff. There are strategic games like snooker and gamblers where you accumulate points and you try to be as fast as you can. So you'll never run the same course twice, ever. You get to a trial, they'll give you a course map, you have 8 minutes to walk and memorize the course, and then you will run it later. So I will never ever do the same course twice in my life. So thank goodness, I still have my wits about me and I can hopefully memorize stuff. It happens, we do get lost on course occasionally, and that's just human nature. It's not a big deal. So there are some events where I will walk 3 or 4 courses early in the morning, and I may not run them till the afternoon or evening. So I have to remember 3 or 4 courses in my little brain, and then I'll be running them later. So there's a lot of mental visualization that goes on with it, and I will watch other dogs run it and see how they're handling it as well. So.
Okay, so as I'm listening to you, so what if someone has a dog that they think would be great at this, but maybe they're not the person to take the dog through all of it? What are your suggestions to those folks?
So luckily, when you start in agility, they have novice levels, and they are made for the baby beginner. So it helps you start to build on that. Novice courses are very simple. It's a big circle with maybe a little turn. So they introduce you to agility very gently, and that's when you get addicted. So the novice courses are very forgiving. They allow some mistakes, and they're great for those people that, like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to remember this. Again, it's very easy. And there are online mental management classes for dog agility that people can take. And confidence. A lot of people are not natural athletes, but they want to do this activity with their dog, and they're like, okay, what do I need to do to get to that level? So there are so many options out there. Online courses are huge for people that don't have instructors near them. You can take online courses, you film things, you have an instructor that will give you feedback and talk about your videos. So even if you are not in an area, there's possibilities are endless.
So I was reading, this is a popular canine sport. How popular is this really, Amy? I mean, how many people are getting into this, and when did that whole thing really get started?
Well, believe it or not, like I said, my first dog is turning 15. There are people who have been in the sport for 30 years.
Wow.
I actually consider myself still a newbie, believe it or not, even though I've been doing it a little while. Just because there are people that have been around since its inception. So again, I still will go to seminars to learn myself. It changes. The sport is ever evolving. So what we were doing 5 years ago is not what we're doing today. So it constantly changes with the handling challenges. Dogs are getting faster. People are getting faster. So yeah, it's just this kind of a ever evolving thing, and it never is boring. So
okay, we want to put up another photograph,
okay,
and we'll want the story behind this photograph, and then we'll have a few more questions.
Okay.
For you.
So this was our win at the Purina Incredible Dog Challenge Nationals. So we had to go to a regional event first and kind of secure our spot there, and we won at the regional, and this is our podium photo. And we won the small dog agility. Believe it or not, I know these other 2 competitors very well. We are friends. The agility community, believe it or not, is kind of a smaller community, so a lot of us know each other. But this was our winning photo. Pixel hates looking at the camera when she's on the podium, and she hates being picked up. So those guys are holding their dogs where I am not, because she thinks being picked up is, hot lava. So she's just sitting there like a good dog. But yeah, we were pretty happy. It was a very, very fun event. They take really good care of you and give you cupcakes, so I get very excited about that.
So let's talk briefly. You look at a photograph like that. What is the motivation, briefly for you and then for Pixel?
Fun. I know I keep going back to this. Fun. There's been some runs that I've completely blown up on. Like, we have dropped a bar, we've taken wrong obstacles, but there are moments of brilliance. And it's just that there's something about running as fast as you can with your dog through a course, and you're like, wow, okay, we maybe just blew up, but did you see that? Yeah. X, Y, and Z. So my motivation is just to have fun, and I want to be a role model to other people to have fun too.
Yeah.
So when I see my students at a trial and maybe something goes wrong, I'll yell, keep running, or smile, or go play with your dog. It's just about that relationship with your dog and having that fun. It's just a fun thing. It's a fun hobby.
So before we talk about Pixel's motivation, I would like you to set up, we have another video we want to
Okay.
show our viewers. So
Okay.
before we talk about Pixel, let's set that up and then
Okay.
we'll have our viewers take a look at that. So what are we going to see?
Okay, this is our AKC Nationals finals run.
Okay.
And so we had fought our way. This was the finals run. We are running to be a national agility champion.
Okay.
So we're out there to run as fast as we can. We now go for broke. We have nothing left to do but just go as fast as we can. So one of my friends who just laid down one of the fastest times, I know what the time is. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're just going to go as fast as we can. And we did, and the crowd was cheering us on, and we were right at the end, and she hits the teeter and just came off a little too early. So unfortunately, that killed our run, but
Let's take a look
Yes.
at it. Let's take a look at it.
okay.
There is a two-time AKC European Open team member, Pixel, a miniature American Shepherd with Navy Sheffield out of Omaha, Nebraska. Here she is in the finals, but she's going to play one this. She's running fast to get her favorite snack, some Hollywood whipped cream. She's a mega Pixel.
Okay, so Pixel's motivation.
Just to run and chase me, really. She loves running and chasing me. And at the end of our run, when we leave the ring, she gets to tug on a Frisbee, she gets to tug on a leash, she gets to play with me. And believe it or not, that is her motivation. She just loves running and chasing me and being silly. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so if folks want more information about this, we're going to put up a graphic and some websites. GoDogsOmaha.org, the Nebraska Humane Society.org, or AKC.org. Next for you?
So next for me, Pixel and I will be traveling to Italy in July to compete on Team USA at the European Open. So I will be representing the United States in a big event overseas.
Best wishes to you both.
Thank you very
so
much.
for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.